I entered my second marriage at the age of 39. My new wife, Ava, was considerably younger than me, while her mother, Emily, was almost my age. In her 23 years, Ava had been raised by her mother in a strict and almost puritanical environment. Despite her physical attractiveness, she had a limited view of intimacy, and until our marriage, any form of physical contact was considered taboo. Now, however, those restrictions were behind us, and we were to build our new life together. Although I was already experienced, this particular situation presented its own challenges with many awkward conversations and the need to explain the basics of married life. After the 3-day wedding reception, when the last guest had finally gone home, Ava and I found ourselves alone in my bedroom. I decided it was time to discuss the nature of our relationship, and as I explained it to her, she blushed and nodded in agreement. When her mother retired to the next room, I continued my patient explanations with Ava, slowly bringing her through the first steps of our marriage. Emily, my mother-in-law, had been divorced for 19 years and had apparently developed a bitterness toward men. She had raised Ava to be chaste and conservative, dressing her in outdated clothes that hid her figure. When we first met, Emily greeted me coldly, and from then on, she rarely showed warmth or interest in me. As the first week of married life passed, Ava decided to sleep in her mother's room, and I kept wondering what I could have done wrong. One evening, standing on the balcony with a cigarette, I overheard their conversation. "Mom, I can't remember everything he's explaining to me, so I think it would be best if we sleep separately for a while." "Ava, is it really that hard?" replied Emily. "Everyone has a first time, and then it gets easier. Eventually, you'll have kids, and everything will be fine." Sighing, Ava replied, "We'll see, Mom. In the meantime, I need some time." After hearing this, I quietly went back to our room. Soon, Emily walked in and informed me, "Ava isn't feeling well, so she's going to sleep with me for a while." She smiled enigmatically and left. From that day on, Emily's behavior took an unexpected turn. She cut her hair into a trendy style, began wearing fitted jeans and skirts, and seemed almost unrecognizable. I also noticed that she started paying more attention to me, often with an amused smirk. When Ava's vacation was over, she returned to her job as a dispatcher in a neighboring town, leaving me alone with Emily. One evening, she invited me to join her in the kitchen, saying we needed to talk about Ava. She set a bottle on the table, which surprised me since I'd never seen her drink. But she explained that it was to facilitate conversation, to help us understand each other as mother-in-law and son-in-law. I poured the drinks, and soon we were chatting openly, discussing the deeper aspects of life with Ava. That evening, we agreed on everything. We crossed boundaries that, looking back, I can hardly believe. But since then, my relationship with both Ava and Emily has grown even stronger. I have now been married to Ava for 2 years, and my bond with Emily remains complex but warm. One evening, when Ava was late for a work party, I stopped by to pick her up. As I approached her office, I heard her laughing and then a man's voice. Looking inside, I found her sitting on her desk, her dress pulled up, and a man standing beside her, putting his arm around her shoulders and whispering in her ear. "Isn't it time to go home?" said I loudly. Ava looked up, her eyes clouded with alcohol, and muttered, "Oh, Brad, it's you." Her companion quickly disappeared, and I helped her out, feeling that things between us were not as simple as I had imagined. Later that night, frustrated, I found myself at a nearby bar and had a drink to drown out the confusion. The night flew by, And the next thing I knew, I woke up in Emily's guest room, disoriented and hungover. She was sitting next to me, holding a hangover mixture in her hands. I lowered my gaze and realized I was wearing unfamiliar pajamas, and she was smiling as if she knew a lot more than she was saying. "Brad, you called me last night, totally freaked out, and told me you caught Ava with another man," she began. Pieces of the previous night were fuzzy, but as she filled in the blanks, it all came back to me, making me question the choices I'd made and where I should go from here.